Good day everyone, I am Rogelyn Sayo, your presenter for today's discussion, and our topic for today is all about food preservation. First, let us define food preservation. So, what is food preservation? Food preservation is the procedure by which food is treated and handled to stop or slow down food spoilage, loss of quality, edibility, or nutritional value, and thus allow for longer food storage. Preservation usually involves preventing bacteria, fungi such as yeast, and other microorganisms from developing, as well as retarding the oxidation of rancid-causing fats. As what I have read, food preservation is a way of treating or handling foods to prevent it from spoilage, and it allows the food for longer storage. Now we will proceed to the importance of food preservation. First, we have food preservation assures the consumer of a supply of food even when they are out of season. So, food preservation assures us to supply the food even it is out of season, especially in terms of fruit and vegetables. It is also essential in improving the general health of the family by supplying a varied and balanced diet. So food preservation is also good in improving healthy and balanced diet. Next, we have the nutritional inadequacy is lessened through the year-round availability of the necessary nutrients. Spoiling, no matter what form it takes, is minimized and sometimes pretended. So another importance of food preservation is its nutritional inadequacy. These are food that are not in season that contains nutrients that our body needs. So food preservation is good for it preserves the food with the certain nutrients that our body needs. Now, let us proceed to the methods of food preservation. The first method is heating and or cooking. So it preserves nearly all types of food for the considerable period of time and make food more palatable. In heating and cooking method, foods are being undergo in the boiling water. Next, we have canning. Canning combines the techniques of heating to kill spoilage, microorganisms, and inactive enzymes, sealing in an airtight container to prevent subsequent contamination. So as you can see in the picture presented in the slide, canning is very popular in preserving foods, especially in fruits, fish, and vegetables. So there are three methods of canning. The first one is open kettle method. Food is completely cooked in an ordinary kettle and packed while boiling hot into hot sterile jars applicable for making jams. So, open kettle method is commonly used in making jams. Next, we have cold pack method. Where the food is packed cold or raw in tin or glass jars, then covered with hot syrup or any suitable liquid. In cold pack method, we make sure that foods are packed when they are cold and not when they are still hot. Then it is covered with hot syrup or any suitable liquid. Lastly, we have the hot pack method, wherein raw materials is processed in an open kettle and immediately packed in sterile jars while hot, a satisfactory method of canning meat, poultry, and fish. So unlike cold pack method, hot pack method processed food in an open kettle, then it is immediately packed while it is still hot. So now let's go back to the next method of food preservation, which is the pasteurization. So pasteurization undergo food is subjected to sufficient heat to kill most of its bacteria without markedly altering flavor or other characteristics used for preserving liquids such as milk, fruit, and vegetables, juice, and beer. So pasteurization is used or commonly used in preserving fresh milks and dairy, and it is also used in making wines or preservation of fruits. So next we have drying. Drying is the oldest method of preserving food. Preserves the food moisture content below the level in which microorganisms can grow and reproduce, mostly processed under the sun. So we all know what is drying because drying is the oldest method of preserving food. As stated on the slide, drying is a method of preserving wherein food are exposed directly under the sun. Next, we have the use of chemical additives, wherein we preserve by using high concentration of salt, then leaching it with water to inhibit the growth of microorganism and enzyme action. So in this method of food preservation, food, especially fish, are preserved with the use of salt. So next, let's proceed to another common method, which is the refrigeration, wherein the food are preserved by slowing down the growth and reproduction of microorganisms, as well as the action of enzymes which cause food to rot without changing its form or texture. So refrigeration is a method of food preservation where foods are being freezed to preserve the texture and form of the food. Next, we have the fermentation. Fermentation is the process of adding sugar or salt solution called brine to the food in order to limit the growth of spoilage or pathogenic microbiota. So this is the process where sugar and salt are being used to preserve food, especially fruits. In this method, we use brine solution. And for the last method of food preservation, we have sugar preservation, wherein we use to preserve food which are cooked in syrup to attain concentration of 40 to 65% called saturated raw sugar level. So this method also uses sugar or syrup to preserve fruits. It is very common in making jams. So that's the end of our discussion. I hope you have learned something, and thank you for listening.